Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be reacting to a video called 15 Amazing Geography Facts About Canada. So Canada, it's huge. I think it's the second largest country. So there's a lot of land mass and a lot of I think it's not just snow, right? I think there's also a lot of woods and a lot of rivers as well, I believe. I don't know. I'm excited to find out. So let's check it out and comment, like, and subscribe.
Is an amazing country that makes up about 1/3 of all of North America. And because it's so vast and spans such a large area, it's bound to have some of the most awe-inspiring geography attached to it. So here are 15 of my favorite geography facts about the Great White North. And to kick us off, do you know how many islands Canada has?
50? Am I short?
Canada has more islands than any other country in the world, with an estimated 52,000 named islands and countless smaller unnamed ones. The Arctic archipelago.
I don't really understand how 52,000 can fit into this small. I'm seeing about 30.
Archipelago alone contains over 36,000 islands, including Baffin Island, the world's 5th largest, and Ellesmere Island, the 10th largest. Combined,
okay, yeah, a lot of them are probably uninhabited.
These islands account for about 15% of Canada's land mass.
Well, that's a lot.
Not all Arctic barren tundras. Canada's islands offer incredible diversity. In the east, Prince Edward Island is known for its rolling farmland and beaches, while in the west, Vancouver Island and Haida Gwaii feature lush rainforests and
the concept of a Canadian beach, that's surprising to me.
Towering mountains. But unlike island nations such as Indonesia or the Philippines, which are densely populated, Canada's islands are often remote and sparsely inhabited. This isolation makes them vital for scientific research, tourism, and environmental conservation. And because it has so many islands, it also has...
What? Oh, of course.
Canada's coastline is the longest in the world, stretching over 202,000 kilometers. It borders 3 oceans, the Atlantic, the Pacific, and the Arctic. To put it in perspective, the second longest coastline belongs to Indonesia, a country of over 17,000 islands. Yet its coastline measures...
You need to have a lot of islands to have the biggest coastline.
just 54,000 kilometers. Canada's coastline is nearly 4 times longer. This immense length contributes significantly to Canada's economy and biodiversity. The coastlines are home to vital fisheries, particularly for lobster and crab on the Atlantic side and salmon on the Pacific side. The Arctic coastline, though less accessible, is becoming...
Yeah, is Canada famous for the salmon? I have no idea.
...increasingly important with climate change, as melting ice opens potential shipping routes like the Northwest Passage. Canada's extensive coastline also includes famous natural wonders like the Bay of Fundy, known for having the world's highest tides, with some areas rising over 16 meters in a single day. With a coastline...
Okay, I've never seen that thing in my life, but I would love to go.
This long, it's probably not surprising that Canada is really, really large. Canada covers a vast 9.98 million square kilometers, making it the second largest country on Earth after Russia. It's so large that you could fit the entire European Union into Canada with room to spare. Despite its massive size...
I want to see the population because I assume there's fewer Canadian people living in Canada than in Europe.
Canada's population is only about 40 million people, meaning it has one of the lowest population densities globally, with only about 4 people per square kilometer, an extremely low amount when you compare it to the United States, which has on average 35 people per square kilometer.
I know you already think the US is kind of sparsely populated, so this is insane.
This vast expanse of Canada includes towering mountains, expansive prairies, frozen tundra, and dense forests.
It's good. I'm seeing all those beautiful landscapes. It's good that people don't live there because they don't ruin it. So good.
The country's size creates extreme regional diversity, from British Columbia's temperate rainforests to Nunavut's icy Arctic, and from the flat prairies of Saskatchewan all the way to the rocky coast of Newfoundland.
Yeah, a lot of these places look similar to the US.
Canada's size and overall northernness contributes to harsh winters, which can make living difficult. However, this space also allows Canada to preserve its incredible natural beauty, with over 38 national parks.
That water didn't even look real. I don't know if that's digitally altered, but it looked insane.
Protecting these landscapes. Now, despite having so much space, Canada's people haven't really spread out to occupy it all.
Well, why would they?
Despite
It's
Canada's
cold.
immense size, about 75% of its population lives within 100 miles of the US border. This narrow strip of land accounts for less than 5% of Canada's total area, but it includes cities like Toronto.
I think for density purposes, I think it probably goes up higher because this is just a very narrow line.
Toronto, Vancouver, Montreal, and Ottawa. This concentration is largely due to geography and climate. The southern parts of Canada have a milder climate, more fertile land, and better access to trade with the United States. Meanwhile, the northern
Makes
regions
sense.
are dominated by harsh Arctic and subarctic conditions, making large-scale settlement difficult. In comparison, Russia, another vast country with a cold climate, has a similar pattern,
Yeah,
with
of
most of
course.
its population concentrated in the more temperate west. Which means Canada's largest bay is mostly uninhabited. The Hudson Bay is the world's second largest bay after the Bay of Bengal, covering
Oh.
1.23 million square kilometers. Situated in northeastern Canada, it's
Obviously, they were telling me it's large. I wasn't imagining it to be that big.
surrounded by Manitoba, Ontario, Quebec, and Nunavut. Now, despite its size, the Hudson Bay is relatively shallow, with an average depth of just 100 meters. This
Oh.
shallowness means it freezes over completely during the winter.
Do people
and
ice
even in
skate?
summer, the water remains extremely cold. The bay is a remnant
Oh.
of a prehistoric sea left behind by melting glaciers after the last ice age. The Hudson Bay plays an important role in Canada's history and
I wasn't imagining, seeing it the map, I wasn't imagining it to look like this in real life.
economy. It was the site of early fur trading posts established by the Hudson's Bay Company, which helped shape Canada's development. Today, its shores are sparsely populated, with small communities
Oh, this
relying
is-
on fishing,
this is very
hunting,
pretty.
and shipping. The Hudson Bay, of course, is not inland, but Canada does have plenty of really large lakes.
Yeah, of course, they're surrounded by water.
Canada is home to more
This is
lakes than
surprising.
any other country, boasting over 2 million, with
Oh my God.
31,752
Okay, I knew that they had a lot of lakes, but 2 million? That's insane. I don't know if you can count them all.
larger than 3 square kilometers. That's more than the rest of the world combined.
Yeah.
Its lakes account
What?
for nearly 9% of the country's total area.
my God.
A staggering contrast to countries
Who actually lives in Canada? They are surrounded by water and lakes and snow. Seriously, there's a very small area in which can be which can be populated basically.
like Australia, which is famous for its arid landscapes and limited freshwater resources. Among
Well, you have a
Canada's most
point.
famous lakes
Yeah.
are Lake Superior, which is shared with the
Oh, yeah.
US and known as the world's largest freshwater lake by surface area, and Great Bear Lake, located entirely within Canada and recognized as the country's largest by volume. These lakes
Oh.
are essential for
God, that's
hydropower,
gorgeous.
providing clean energy to millions of Canadians, as well as for recreation and wildlife habitats. Altogether, Canada's Great Lakes system,
It's not just pretty, it's actually useful.
which also includes Lake Ontario, Erie, and Huron, contains 20% of the world's freshwater supply. So it makes sense that some of those lakes would also have their own islands.
Oh, I hadn't thought of this.
Canada is home
Yeah.
to Manitoulin Island, the world's largest freshwater island, located in Lake Huron. Covering 2,766 square kilometers, it's larger than some countries, such as Luxembourg,
What?
which is only
Wow.
2,586 square
Not a big feat to be, no offense to Luxembourg, but no offense, but it's not that hard to be bigger than them. They're tiny.
kilometers. But unlike most islands surrounded by salt water, Manitoulin is unique for its freshwater setting. But that's not
Is
the
it-
only thing that sets
it
this
inhabited?
island apart from the others. Manitoulin itself contains
Oh my
over
God.
100 inland lakes. Some even have their
Okay, but there's a lot of green. Oh my god, this is so beautiful.
own islands. This extremely rare phenomenon means that
It's an island within an island in an island. It's Inception.
there are islands within lakes on an island within a larger lake. Treasure Island is a great example of this because
Yeah, it's a phenomenon as synecdoche. That's I think the term.
it's the world's largest natural island in a lake on an island in a lake. Manitoulin
crazy.
Island has a rich indigenous history and remains home to several
Oh.
Anishinaabe communities.
Oh,
Its
so
landscapes
people live there.
feature rolling hills, beaches, and forests, making it a popular destination for outdoor enthusiasts. Boating,
We'd love to
fishing,
go.
and hiking are common activities, while visitors can also explore cultural sites and learn about the island's First Nation heritage.
I'm
But this
surprised at how
is
green it is.
perhaps not even Canada's most famous freshwater island.
What? What?
Canada's
What is this?
southernmost point, Middle Island, is farther south than parts of Northern California. Located within Lake Erie at 41.4 degrees north, it lies on the same latitude as cities like Rome and Chicago.
What? Okay. Yeah, I was so lost. Okay, my brain doesn't compute this. What do you mean?
However, its location surprises many because Canada is often associated with northern cold climates and snow-covered landscapes.
How can they be at the same latitude as Rome? That's insane. No, the map doesn't make sense.
Now, all that said, there are no permanent settlements on Middle Island, as the entire island is a conservation area. So technically, Canada's southernmost point with people would be Pelee Island, just a little north of Middle Island.
With
all in all, not that different and still well south of much of the United States. We've now covered Canada's far north and far south.
This is insane to me.
But what's in the middle?
Nothing. Oh, okay, there's a forest.
Canada's boreal forest is one of the largest intact forests in the entire world, spanning over 2.7 million square kilometers and stretching from Newfoundland to the Yukon. This biome covers nearly 35% of Canada's land area, making
it's basically the whole country. It's just a forest.
It a critical component of the country's geography and environmental health. The boreal forest is home to iconic species such as moose, lynx, and wolves, as well as billions of migratory birds that nest here in the summer. It's
I'm so happy for them, but of course, this area is huge. There's a lot of animals.
Trees, mainly spruces, pines, and firs, also play a vital role in sequestering carbon, helping to mitigate climate change.
This is
Canada's
beautiful.
boreal forest is larger than those in Russia or Scandinavia, and it plays a crucial role in regulating global weather patterns. Its vastness and importance have earned it recognition
Okay, so we should do whatever it takes to preserve it.
as one of the world's most significant ecosystems. Unlike tropical rainforests, which are shrinking due to deforestation, much of Canada's boreal forest remains pristine. However,
That's crazy.
wildfires are a growing concern for the region as every summer, lightning storms set off large, unmanageable fires. Now,
This bumps me out. This sucks.
underneath all of those trees is some seriously old rock.
How old? Well, we're technically old.
Canada
rocks are
is
old.
home to some of the oldest rocks on Earth, dating back nearly 4 billion years. These ancient
that's
formations
old.
are found in the Canadian Shield, a massive geologic feature that stretches across northern and eastern Canada,
What's the
including
Canadian
parts of
Shield?
Quebec, Ontario, Manitoba, and the Northwest Territories. The Canadian Shield is a treasure trove for geologists. In 2008, researchers discovered rocks in northern Quebec's Greenstone Belt that are believed to be 4.28 billion years old,
Even
predating
older.
most life on Earth. These rocks provide a glimpse into Earth's earliest crust and the conditions that shaped our planet. Beyond its age, the Shield is a vital
What's that green thing in that lake?
economic region. Rich in minerals like gold, nickel, and copper, it has driven Canada's mining industry for decades.
Oh.
Its rugged landscape, dotted with thousands of lakes and forests,
I'm surprised because they've been mining this for so long that you can still find older rocks if the mining is big.
also support tourism and serve as a major carbon sink, absorbing more carbon from the atmosphere than it releases. All that said,
Canada is awesome.
the Canadian Shield does not cross Canada's Great Divide.
Oh. Split in half, okay.
Like with the United States, the Continental Divide runs through Canada's Rocky Mountains, separating the watersheds that flow into the Pacific Ocean from those flowing into the Atlantic Ocean and the Arctic Ocean. The divide stretches from Alaska through Canada, down into the US, and beyond to South America, making it one of the longest hydrological divides in the entire world.
Wow, yeah,
in Canada,
that's
it's
big.
most pronounced in British Columbia and Alberta, where the Rockies create a dramatic natural barrier. Rivers like the Columbia flow west
This is so incredibly stunning. All those beautiful landscapes are gorgeous. They don't look real.
into the Pacific, while the Saskatchewan River system carries water eastward to the Hudson Bay. The divide also plays a role in shaping the ecosystems and weather patterns on either side. For
Yeah,
example,
it's huge.
the west side of the Rockies is wetter and milder due to Pacific air, while the east side is drier and colder. Speaking
Oh.
of colder, Nunavut, established in 1999, is Canada's largest and newest territory, spanning an enormous 2 million square kilometers.
Is that where most of the islands are? Because I'm seeing a lot of separated spaces.
Almost the size of Mexico.
Oh
Despite
my God.
its size, it has a population of just over 41,000 people,
No one lives
making
there.
it one of the least densely populated areas on Earth. None of it is primarily inhabited by Inuit communities, who have lived there for thousands of years.
Okay.
The territory was created as part of a land claim agreement that granted the Inuit self-governance and recognition of their cultural heritage.
Oh.
The capital, Iqaluit,
I didn't know they were self-governed. That's great.
is the largest settlement, yet its population is just over 7,000. None of its geography is dominated by Arctic tundra, rugged mountains,
Yeah.
and hundreds of thousands of islands.
And I wasn't expecting it to look like this. I don't know what I was expecting, but it wasn't bad.
Famous natural landmarks include Baffin Island and the stunning fjords of Ayudik National Park.
They have
Wildlife
fjords?
such as caribou, polar bears, and Arctic foxes
Huh?
thrive here.
Huh? I can't believe there are polar bears because I was led to believe Canada didn't have polar bears. And you know what? They do.
Towering at 5,959 meters, Mount Logan in Yukon is Canada's tallest peak and the second highest mountain in North America after Denali in Alaska. Located
Oh.
within Kluane National Park, the mountain is
And it's kind of close, actually.
part of the St. Elias Range, a region known for its rugged beauty and massive ice fields.
Beautiful.
And despite its already immense size, Mount Logan is still growing by a whopping 0.35 millimeters a year.
I didn't know that mountains could still grow. I thought they were, as humans, once you get past a certain age, you just stop growing. I thought that was the case with mountains. I didn't know that we're still, oh no, it's
To
growing.
the tectonic
How?
collision between the Pacific and North American plates. It also holds the record for having the largest base
Yeah, I get it that tectonic plates are constantly moving, but that doesn't explain why you're still growing. That seems crazy.
circumference of any non-volcanic mountain, stretching 40 kilometers long, making it a colossal
That's
natural
huge.
wonder.
Yeah.
While less famous than Everest or Denali, Mount Logan presents climbers with equally challenging conditions. Temperatures can plunge below negative
Well, yeah, every time you're climbing a mountain in those harsh weather conditions, will they let us know, it's going to be challenging either way. You don't need to climb the Everest.
45 degrees Celsius,
With a K9.
and storms can last for weeks. These extreme conditions have kept the mountain relatively untouched by human activity.
This is-
But something that hasn't gone
It's quite scary. Best to leave it alone. That's my take.
untouched is Canada's vast oil reserves.
Oh, right. They also have oil, right?
This might sound surprising, but Canada ranks among the world's top oil producers, holding the third
top.
largest proven oil reserves globally after Venezuela and Saudi Arabia. Most of
What?
Canada's oil is found in the Athabasca oil sands in Alberta, a vast area containing an estimated 165 billion barrels of recoverable oil. But unlike
I couldn't even attempt to read that number if I tried.
conventional oil reserves, much of Canada's oil is in the form of bitumen, a heavy, viscous form of crude oil that requires extensive processing. The oil sands have been
that's
both
bad.
an economic boon and an environmental challenge. Alberta's oil
Oh.
industry generates billions in revenue and supports thousands of jobs, but it's also criticized for its high carbon emissions and impact on local ecosystems.
Well, that's
Canada's
bad.
oil exports are primarily sent to the United States, making it the largest foreign supplier to the US. Despite this, Canada's oil industry faces
Doesn't surprise me that much because obviously it's a neighbor, so it's close. So of course you want you want the oil to be close by.
challenging in diversifying its markets, as pipeline expansions like the Trans Mountain Project face political and environmental hurdles.
Yeah, the economy, it's not just the economical cost, but I think the environmental cost is way too high, so it's not really worth it.
Finally, Canada spans 6 primary time zones, making
What?
it one of the most time-diverse nations on
And I thought the U.S. had a lot with the Eastern and Pacific, and then you have Central, and there's a few others that nobody kind of uses.
Earth. From Pacific time in British Columbia to Newfoundland time in the Far East, Canada's time zones reflect the sheer vastness of its geography. Newfoundland is particularly unique as it
It's so
operates
big.
on a half-hour offset, a quirk shared by only a few other places worldwide.
What?
Canada's time zones are essential for global trade and travel, particularly with its southern neighbor, the United States. The US shares 4 of Canada's time zones, making cross-border coordination smoother than it might be otherwise.
Yeah.
This time diversity poses challenges for national coordination, though. For example, live broadcasts of sporting events or political speeches often cater to Eastern Time, leaving Western and Atlantic provinces watching at odd hours.
Wow, but that's the same with the Pacific time. When it's for 3 a.m. it's 7. Well, it's the other way around. It's 12 Pacific, and then it's 4 a.m. in Eastern time.
It also underscores the immense size of the country. When Vancouverites wake up, Newfoundlanders are already preparing lunch.
Yeah.
In Canada.
Again, the same thing as with LA and New York.
I'm going off script here just a little bit because there's some really wild things happening in our world right now, particularly between the United States and, of course, your own country. I just want to take a minute to reaffirm that I love Canada. In fact, in many ways, it's my very favorite country. I'm a Pacific Northwest person through and through, but in terms of actual countries, Canada is probably the
Pacific Northwest is gorgeous.
Place that I would most feel at home. I get that there's a lot of anxiety floating around based on a lot of things that are being said by world leaders who have no reason to say those things. And I understand that a lot of Canadians are feeling a lot of distrust and hurt by the way that their former friend, the United States, is talking about them. I guess all that I can say at this moment in time is that I fully believe in a free and independent Canada. I love Canada, and if I have anything to say in the matter, Canada will remain free forever. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please subscribe to the channel and like the video. If you want to follow me around the world as I travel, this week I'm in Japan. You can follow that right here. Otherwise, I'll see you next week.
It's kind of crazy that he had to save that last part, but I think it really goes to show how I think world leaders and politicians, presidents, prime ministers, etc. They kind of say one thing, and of course, because there's a lot of I get it, they're running countries, but it's funny that you would go and you would say like he mentioned, oh, there's a lot of distrust lately. Yeah, but it's on the behalf of politicians and stuff, because normal people are just living their lives, so it's sort of, yeah, of course, I want Canada to remain independent and free. Whatever the politician, the president, the prime minister says is not really the thought process that a lot of normal, or probably most people of one particular country have. But whatever. This was incredible. I didn't know a lot of things. I think one of the things, the oil one, I know that I think I did know, oh yeah, Canada produces oil, or at least had oil reserves, but I didn't know that they had that many. I think it's still, because yes, of course, they're not known for this apparently, and yes, of course, they are trying to move, even though they do have it. Apparently, I don't know how you obviously, I think you need just crude oil, you need to refine this and whatever. So I didn't really know, I'm not that familiar with the process, so I wouldn't know how complicated it is compared to other countries. But apparently the whole process, the kind of oil they have, it's complicated to actually transform into usable oil. So yes, it's kind of, no, it's not really worth it, even though they have it. I don't think it's that it's worth I mean, obviously a lot of people, it's an industry, a lot of people work there, and of course it earns their money, and again, a lot of people work there, so great for the industry and for people in general, for jobs. But I think, they don't want to exploit that much, just because yes, they're trying to move, I think, towards probably a greener economy and a greener country in general, which I'm glad, and of course that's how it should be. But I thought something that struck me throughout the whole video and throughout a lot of these geography facts was that I think they're very, and I don't know if they're known for this, but how green they are trying to be, or they're just unwillingly, they just kind of are green, as in probably not sustainable, but in the sense of they have this huge forest that it's really good for the planet, and not just for them. No, it's good for the planet. And there's a lot of places, islands, and just territories that are sort of untouched by humans, and a lot of scientists probably do experiments there, and it's about preservation. So I don't think, I mean, yeah, of course, probably it was an effort that the government has taken as part of kind of Canadian policy, probably, but I think they were sort of put into that position, I think, by accident, as in they weren't, of course, they're trying to take steps towards being, sustainable and greener. But I think they kind of got lucky in a way, just because, well, Canada is, the whole country is just it's kind of crazy saying, oh, it's not placed, it happens to be in this region with a lot of cultural diversity, with a lot of greenery and biological diversity. So of course they were we're being put in this position. And now that we're here, instead of exploiting it and cutting down all those trees and cutting down everything and trying to expand and cutting out, I mean, it's a huge part of those woods. It's basically half the country. So I think it would have been very easy probably to be, well, we're going to settle here and we have to cut down all those trees and get rid of the wood and we're creating a city here. And they didn't, which I'm so thankful, because now, again, for the planet thanks you. So yes, of course it's good. But I don't know, it's kind of crazy because I'm seeing there's a lot of effort to preserve and preservation. And I didn't know that Canada was kind of known for this. Maybe it's just me and I have a blind spot, but I didn't know that, yeah, apparently Canada is very big on this. And they're it's very green country in general. Kind of unwillingly, I would say. I mean, well, yeah, it could have gone two ways. I'm glad they made the right choice, but still, it's kind of, I don't know, it's kind of crazy to me. It's also, I think, a great feat, because if I'm not mistaken, I think besides, especially I think in the earlier periods of Canada, I think probably 1700s, 1800s. They were the logs and the wood was, I think, a pretty big industry before obviously the modern times came. So it's kind of crazy that, they cut down so many trees because the log industry was huge, and still they have a lot of wood still. So I love it. It's just incredible. The forest is still preserved. I would love to go. I think it's called the Boreal Forest. I don't really, obviously there's cities over there, it's not just a wood and you're just lost there. No, of course not. But I would love to go to one of those cities that's place, I don't know, Territory City. I don't know what's actually in the Boreal Forest. But I would love to go there just because it looked incredibly gorgeous. Just Canada, I think in particular, has incredibly beautiful landscapes. And I don't know, I would love to visit a lot of these places. Not just the city, obviously the city I think is very pretty, Toronto, Vancouver, they are very pretty, they're cities, but at the end of the day, it's kind of, it's a city, and I know each city has its own thing. But the landscapes, I think they are just so incredibly gorgeous, and yes, of course I want to go there. There's a lot of hiking places, a lot of fishing places, a lot of rivers, a lot of lakes. And yes, I wouldn't say, well, you should visit them all, because there's 2 million of them. But I think, yes, I would love to visit at least the most famous ones, because they're gorgeous. One of the things also that struck me as, again, not surprising, but it's kind of, it's funny, because a lot of the places look a lot like other cities and, yes, territories in the US. Oh, it's not surprising, of course. The Pacific Northwest is still the same territory, of course. The whole territorial line of this is where Canada starts and this is where the US starts is man-made, and the territory is gonna be the same. The woods, the land, the soil is the same. Even the lakes, yes, they share a lot of lakes. I didn't really know. I again, maybe that was off of me. I think it's Lake Erie and I think it's Lake Huron. I thought they were just in the US. I didn't know that there's a part of Canada. They have to share part of Canada with them. But yes, I think that was just a mistake on my part. But yeah, I didn't really know. Oh, they apparently Canada also shares it with them. And of course, the mystery of this mountain, this ever-growing mountain, Mount, I think Logan. I think Denali, I think, is more famous. I don't know why. I just think in the collective consciousness, or maybe I'm alone in this, but I think Mount Denali, I think it's probably more famous. I don't think I've ever heard of Mount Logan, and apparently it's the bigger one. I don't know, because because apparently people actually, they climb this as with Mount Everest and stuff. So I don't know why Denali is more famous, but that was surprising to me. And of course I would love an actual explanation on why it keeps growing. Yeah, he tried to explain it, but I'm a little unclear on why, because it seems crazy that the mountain's still growing. Is there a limit? Is it going to be growing forever? As in, I don't know, do trees? No, yeah, trees are like that, right? Trees don't stop growing, I believe. Yes, I don't know. I have to brush up on my biology, but again, that whole concept of a never growing mountain seems crazy, and the whole landscape itself, or where it's actually located. I get hats off to people that attempt to climb it or just do expeditions here. It's vast, it's snowy, it's cold, it's crazy. It really goes. I don't know if I would visit just because it's very, I think you could get pretty existential just because you get the sense of how small humans actually are. But beyond that, I think it's quite scary. It's just so vast. And so you just see snow and snow and snow and mountains, but not recognizable mountains. So it's kind of a scary situation. I think I would be, what happens if you get lost? I don't know. I'm thinking of the worst case scenario. So I don't know if I would visit it because I think it's in Yukon. Maybe other places of Yukon, not this particular, because it makes me a little scared. But yeah, hats off to anyone who attempts to climb this because it's not an easy feat. But that was it for today, and I'll see you soon. Bye.